I will be the next one while you enjoy your pizza.
Okay.
My formula is not that creative as his, just jam plus elixir equals Jamixir. You know, there are some formulas that are more complicated, some of them are simpler, but all of them are part of something that needs to be there. Well, this is me, Daniel, little Daniel. When I was 8-year-old, this is my first computer, an Apple II. I had, I was born in 1979, so 8-year-old, and I started to program in BASIC because I loved computers. I loved programming since I was a kid, and I did a lot of stuff in my life in terms of technology. And then I had to draw this timeline stuff, like what are the technologies that I use. The first programming language was BASIC, and then I switched to Clipper, and then Visual Basic, Java, Ruby, Scala, and I work with many programming languages, and also uses different different editors and different blockchains actually. When I started in blockchain in 2021, so I'm pretty new in the blockchain space compared to a lot of people here. Cardano was the first chain that I looked into, just because I was very interested in functional programming languages, and Cardano was implemented in Haskell. The Plutus, the smart contract language, was Haskell. So I started to study it, and then I studied a little bit of Ethereum, and then a little bit of Solana, and then in the beginning of this year I went to Polkadot Blockchain Academy, and this is where everything started for me in the Jamixir. I've met Luke.
Picture.
Yeah. You need to send me another picture. This is the only one I have, but I like it. Anyway, I met him in Hong Kong this year, and started to learn more about Polkadot and interested in the ecosystem, people, the idea, the vision. And in this moment, I was working with Web3 Dev, a community of Web3 developers that I helped to found in Brazil, because I wanted to work with blockchains, but I didn't know anything. So I created this community to learn together, to discuss, to have friends to talk with, and the community became a thing. My idea was just to study, to become a blockchain developer, but in the end I started to manage a lot of developers, a lot of educational stuff, and I spent like 2 years helping this community to grow, but I came to a point where I couldn't go deeper into the knowledge that I wanted to have. So when I came to PBA, I saw this opportunity to go deeper, to dive deeper into the things that I really love, which is like coding and creating great software. So I decided to implement JAM after that, around May. And I don't have too much to talk about the project, besides the idea that Elixir is a very interesting programming language to make JAM, because of many reasons. Well, these are some slides that I will make the presentation in Elixir Conf. So I'm trying to bring JAM to people that are not familiar with blockchain stuff. And Elixir is a bright community, very strong developers, but they don't know anything about JAM. So I'm trying to convince people that we are doing something really unique with different technologies. So I'm putting all these comparisons to help having a vision of what are we doing in terms of breakthrough technology, and comparing to many other projects that are out there. Of course, this table is just made up for whatever we are comparing, but there are many. What made me really enthusiastic about the project, it was putting a lot of different stuff together into a single blockchain, which is amazing. And I don't need to talk about these innovations. And JAM was specified in a formal way, so we can follow the specification. And someone told me, I was chatting. I think it was you, boy, that told me, you don't even need to understand everything. You just like read the formula and then you implement. So it's really powerful to have this blueprint of everything that you can read and you can make it, transform it into code. So, and Elixir, and these are just some examples. Of course, you already saw this hundreds of times. BVM, erasure coding, Bandersnatch. So all these innovations are somehow in the gray paper specified in a formal way. And then come to Jamixir. So Elixir is a language that was created on top of Erlang. Erlang is a functional programming language, very mature in terms of ecosystem. I think it was created in the 60s or maybe 70s, so there are like a lot of time of optimizations into their virtual machines and the tooling and everything. But the problem with Erlang is that it's not a very easy language for developers. So developers, they look at Erlang code and they run away, just like programming. Parenthesis-oriented programming is really hard to follow. The same way developers take, many developers that I know myself, they take the gray paper and they run away because it's looks too complicated in the first hand. But if you try to remove a little bit of misconception about it, you see that it's achievable for everyone. So I think Elixir is a good language for making JAM accessible for many developers, and besides being a language that is written for, Erlang is an ecosystem that is written for fail-safe systems, for resilient systems. It has a very mature and powerful concurrency and asynchronous environment. Also, it's functional. And this one should show the Brazilian flag. I don't know why. Okay, it was created by a Brazilian, and as you may notice by my accent, I'm from Brazil. So just some examples that I took randomly. This is not an extensive examples, but you have like one formula, block equals header and extrinsics. Simple. And if you go to the actual implementation of it in Elixir, you just say, okay, it's a structure that has a header and an extrinsic. And that's it. You don't need to do anything else. And the same goes for extrinsic. So an extrinsic has tickets and disputes and pre-images and assurance and guarantees. So just define the structure that has these fields. That's it. You don't need to write any other code. And you keep doing this. Okay, you have something more complicated, a state structure that has like all these components, and it is almost the same. You just have more fields in the. It should not. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it should go down until here, but you got the point. And then you have a function the block transition function. So you have something, you have a function that takes 2 parameters and returns something that is the next version of this one, and that's why the symbol is the same. So you as a developer, you just need to understand this formula and try to see that it's not complicated. It's just that trying to communicate something in a very specific way, and as you start coding, you understand it. When I started coding the Jamixir version, I didn't understand the gray paper. I just started coding. I took one formula and said, I'm going to start with this formula, and this is how I started. I took this and started to code the formula that was there, because here is clear. Something, you have 2 parameters, you have a function, and you have an output. Okay? And then you have all the dependencies in the paper. It says, oh, to get this previous state, to get this, you depends on this and this and this. To get this, you depend on this and this and then I started to add all these functions inside that this function here. So I created add block. I have a state, I have a block, and then I do all the dependencies. And each dependency was there. You need to do this, and then you need to do this. I don't know what this is, but I know what I need to do. And I keep adding all these lines of code without understanding anything yet. But this is how I evolved into something. It evolved into something that, oh, now I got it. And this is the process of learning is learned by doing. You just learn Jam not by just reading the paper, but implementing the paper as a way to learn Jam, learn coding, learn Elixir, because even Elixir, it was a language that I was familiar with, but not that much. So it was pretty fun. And then Luke joined me, and then we started to do. So just a little bit more examples. These are pretty straightforward. If you have like encoding of new, so this is the new symbol in maths. In Elixir, you have this symbol new, and then you return empty, this is how empty. So basically you need to translate math to code, but as you can see, it's the same formula. You just need to know like this syntax, do, whatever, but it's pretty, if you substitute this one for do, you have almost the formula you have in code. And the same goes when x is a binary, this is a binary, so when is binary x, then you return x. E of x when x is a binary. So pretty beautiful. And yeah, there are more examples like this one, the variable sized things that you need to add. When you encode something that has a variable side, you need to encode it by adding in the beginning the size of the thing that you are encoding and then the elements. So it's cutting here, but yeah, I'll fix it later. And then you have all this complicated stuff. You look at this formula, oh no, this is so complicated, this is so big, there's so many things, but in reality, it's not. If you want to encode a block, you just need to encode the header and the extrinsic in this order. First the header, then extrinsic. And how to encode the extrinsics? You need to encode the tickets and then the dispute. So in the end, all this is telling something that in code is almost the same. You encode the tickets. Well, but the tickets are variable inside, so you need to use this element here, variable size, which we define in our code as VS. So basically, you have this formula like this. Okay, so this is what yeah, there is some other examples. which is unfortunately is cutting. I need to fix this slide for the next time. But yeah, let me just this one. I want to show you quickly. Maybe if I change the size, no, it doesn't help. I mean, yeah. Yeah, maybe next time. I will fix it for the next time. But yeah, that's it. So I'm really happy to be here, and the same as the pajamas guys brought, Aniel. I decided to do this for my life in the next years, so there's a lot of work to do, and I'm here not just for the learnings, the technical learnings, but the opportunity to be with you guys, to help to organize these kinds of meetings that we can join together as a community, as a group of builders, and try to make something. There's a lot of stuff that still need to be done to make it happen, but I'm here for you, so count on me on next steps, and let's go to the next one.